This is the January 13, 2021 meeting of the Farragut Parks and Athletics Council. This meeting is being held virtually as authorized by Governor Lee's executive orders regarding the COVID-19 pandemic and can be viewed live on the Town of Farragut's YouTube channel, Charter Channel 193, TDS Channel 3, and at townoffarragut.org/live stream. We will start with a roll call of the committee members present. When I call your name, please say present. Chairperson Bob Brock.
Present.
Vice Chairperson Jeff Ulian.
Present.
Jeff Devlin. Bill McAdams.
Present.
Mark Geller.
Present.
Scott Russ.
Present.
Randy Armstrong.
Present.
Dylan Carroll. Staff Sue Stoll. And myself, Lauren Cox. I would like to remind everyone to please mute your microphone to limit background noise. When ready to speak, please unmute your microphone, state your full name before speaking, and when finished speaking, please mute your microphone, put it back on mute. And we'll turn the meeting over to Bob.
Fantastic. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for attending. I like Sue's new hair color. It's looking good. Hope everybody's healthy and well and doing good. And I don't blame us for meeting online this way. So we got to try to avoid this nasty virus that's going around. So hopefully everybody's doing well from that. Let's go ahead and start. We'll start with the approval of our minutes. Who's got the minutes?
Did everybody have an opportunity to read over them?
I motion that we approve the September minutes.
Yeah. Scott Russ, I second.
Okay, who's taking notes for this?
I am.
Okay, good. Fantastic. So we have a motion and a second. So all approve, say aye or raise your hand. Everybody good with that? Okay, fantastic. Next on the agenda is our Farragut 40 program update presented by Ms. Lauren.
Okay, so last year to celebrate the town's 40th anniversary, you all had decided that we would do, Scott came up with the Farragut 40, and of course, as COVID hit, we canceled that event. So, you know, as things progressed, we learned that it's okay to be outside and be active. And so we went ahead and revived that program, changing it just a little bit, not really celebrating the 40th, but just getting people moving outdoors. And so far, as of today, we have 63 people registered for the program. Everyone who completes their 40 miles will get a prize. We're thinking of a nicer water bottle, something nice. And then everyone who completes will also be put into a drawing for a $100 gift card. Whoever wins that will be able to choose between a local grocery store, Farragut grocery store, Echelon Bikes, or Fleet Feet. So any questions about that?
Hey, Lauren, it's Scott Russ. I did have a question about that. Is the program strictly limited to residents of 37934? A good friend of mine had asked me about the program, and she actually lives in Hardin Valley, but she's an avid walker and walks all of the trails all through Farragut. And I just wondered if it was limited to Farragut residents.
We have not limited it to Farragut residents, but we do want them to track their miles using our parks and greenways.
Correct. Right.
Yes.
Understood. Okay. So I did go online and register as one of the 63. So that information will be up on the website, I guess on the 31st when it goes into effect. Once you register, how do you log those miles? It wasn't clear to me on there.
Yeah, the notes section of you should have gotten a registration email. And in the notes section, it should have a link to a sheet of paper where you can log your miles.
Okay, I did not receive a registration email, so I'll go back and log into my account and see what my registration status is then.
Yeah, it should have come from Rec Desk. So and I will definitely check on that also.
I'll follow up with you if I stumble or can't find it or have a hiccup. I'll shoot you a note.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, thanks, Lauren, for that information. It looks like it's back on track, and if we get this antidote working, we'll be doing much better. So I'm praying it's sooner versus than later.
Yes.
Next on the agenda is a field use update. I guess that's Ms. Lauren still.
It's me again. So last night we met with all of our field allocation users. They have all worked out a schedule. So there's no need for them to show up to this meeting tonight to work with you all. We have lots of use on our synthetic turf fields. Anchor Park has been picked back up by a group. So we have active use on our Anchor Park rectangle field. And for the most part, everybody left really happy from that meeting. So I will get contracts created this week. I'll get those out to our user groups, and we will open our fields on March 1st.
Hey, Lauren, this is Bill McAdams. So just give us a sense of what the utilization of the fields is like. Is it pretty steady with the bookings? Is it going to be pretty steady relative to 2019, or what kind of utilization do we have?
So it is, the only time our usage went down is when we had to close our fields. At the beginning of the pandemic, when we closed everything, as soon as we opened them back up, they're full. Friday nights is generally picked up by a prepaid group, but our fields are full. Our synthetic turf fields are available on Friday evenings, and that's it. So, and baseball and softball fields, the same. We have already, I'm going to turn and look at this. Our synthetic turf fields for the spring, for March and April, the weekends are full of tournaments. Almost every weekend there is a tournament out at Mayor Bob. We have 2 adult softball tournaments already scheduled for the spring as well. So weekends will be full of tournaments, and throughout the week we have heavy use on our fields.
I'd also like to note that it's I mean, there's time available like at 8:30 or 9 to 10, which very few, get to use, or before 5. But it got so detailed last night that we have 2 groups who are rotating every other week on a half of a field for an hour and a half. 2 different clubs. So it's really tight. I mean, and they were great to work with each other and try to appease as many as much as they can. We did have a new group come in, and they ultimately decided to back out, but because I don't think they were going to get what they wanted. But it's tight, and as Lauren said, the weekends are full. So we're now at a point where we're going to have to start talking in the near future about the balance between community use and tournament use. tourism versus community use. And so it's just something for you all to think about.
Thanks,
Hey,
Sue.
Lauren or Sue, this is Drew. Is there any way to tell for the tournaments on the weekends at Mayor Bob Park, how many of those would draw out of town teams for hotel stays and, spending money in town versus it being a FC Alliance or Crush or any local club where we imagine the majority will all be local, so it won't bring hotel stays? Is there any way to look at that on the reservation end, or do y'all just kind of, when it happens, and we see if we draw any Atlanta, Nashville, Chattanooga teams?
Well, oh, Sue, you're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit?
Well, so right now on the schedule, I'm going to pull this down so I can have it in front of me. Right now on the schedule, KFC has their spring tournament, which brings in people from, Nashville, and they are going to stay. It's a 3-day tournament. Right now, FC Alliance's tournaments that they have booked are more local than they are bringing people in. The Farragut Youth Lacrosse Spring Jamboree brings in about 70 different teams, and they will be staying in hotels. And then we also are bringing back, I don't know if you all, in the spring, we had the quarterback challenge that was hosted by Mayor Bob. They're coming back with their Gridiron 7-on-7. It's football. They'll be hosting 2 tournaments with us this year and running part of their league on our fields. So when they came for the quarterback challenge, I think they came from 15 different states. I don't know that the 7-on-7 will be bringing people that far, but they'll definitely be booking hotel stays.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lauren.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sue, Bill McAdams had a question about it. Is there any additional fields with McPhee expansion? I don't believe there's any field expansion associated with the McPhee Park at this time, but like you said, I think we're kind of really pressed for synthetic turf. Has there been any more discussion, or have you had any more discussion about field conversion from natural to turf and converting potentially some of whether it's a softball field or something of that nature?
That will be a Board of Mayor and Aldermen probably discussion at their planning meeting that they have usually in February. I'm not sure if it's been set yet. Drew can answer that, but that will be something that I'm sure that they will talk about. So at this point, I don't know of any conversion. We do have money in the budget for another field, whether that's new land or whether that's a conversion, but that's all we have right now. At McPhee Park, there's no room for any additional sports because the property that's not totally, that's not developed is topologically challenged, and it's great for trails and things like that, but it's not going to be good for any sports fields or athletic fields.
Right. Thank you, Sue.
Thanks, Sue. I don't think anybody welcomed you to the program, darling. Good to see you tonight. Okay, next on the agenda is most of you, if you've got the email, you probably had a chance to look over the rates and how we compare with our field usages and whatnot. You guys did a good job doing some comparisons, so it looks like we need to discuss that now. So the fee recommendations. So turn that back over, Sue or Lauren, which one?
Okay, so as you can see, if you've looked over the fees, we are a little low. We could definitely in the future bring our fees up, but because of the pandemic, because of where we are currently, staff recommend to leave the fees where they are. But you all certainly can discuss this right now and give your recommendation.
What's everybody's thoughts?
This is Scott Russ. My thoughts are that I would take your recommendation, Sue and Lauren.
Anyone else? Comments?
This is Devlin. Yeah, I'm with Scott on that. I think we need to take the recommendations.
Doug?
Bill McAdams, I don't really have any reason to not accept the recommendations. I think the context would maybe be if the overall town needed the revenue, or if there's a particular burning issue that we need the revenue for. If we don't need it, then I'm fine with the recommendation.
All righty. Under item A, if you've got the agenda in front of you, talking about the field excessive trash. Item A, tournament excessive trash damage deposit. We made a decision on that, Lauren.
So no, you all need to vote to accept this. The reason we are bringing this to you is because the weekend of the Sudanese American Soccer Federation, when they were using our fields, I worked the entire weekend. It was Thanksgiving weekend, and I have never in my life seen that much trash. And so we want to, speaking with Rocky Top Sports World and friends that we have everywhere, most places have a fee for trash removal for tournaments or a damage deposit. We don't want to charge people $500 or $200. We don't want to charge them, but we do want a deposit so that if we have staff working till 1 o'clock in the morning, that we have payment for that.
Lauren, was it just heavily littered, or was it just an excessive amount of trash at the trash receptacles?
They didn't use the trash receptacles.
Okay, yeah, that was my question. So yes. it was basically littered.
And it's not just them. We've had other groups that have done that in the past. This was just the most recent. And speaking with Cassidy, who runs the tournaments and stuff at Rocky Top Sports World, he said it's very common now with the groups not using the trash cans you place out for them. And when you draw in that many people, it is just completely out of control. So we just want to protect ourselves with that damage deposit. It also will help us if our synthetic turf fields get damaged, if they have things on the fields like food and coffee and stuff like that. We'll have some money to help repair those fields.
I just can't get my head around that. People just trashing the place out and it being common practice. Maybe that's just me, but yeah, I think a deposit to hold some liability against the users is probably, it sounds like it is definitely necessary. I would be for it.
And so we were thinking also that these new users that come in to host tournaments, not like Farragut Youth Lacrosse or FC Alliance, these are regular users. They use our fields all the time, and we don't have issues with them. But groups that come in from, that travel state to state, we want from now on, we're going to ask for references from other states or organizations that have hosted them, again, to protect ourselves.
That's a fantastic idea.
Hey, Lauren, it's Mark Geller. What do most places charge? What's the average? Because I think if we go I'm all for it. If you go too low, then people are just going to trash it. And they're going to say, well, what's $100? But if you go $1,000, they're going to say, all right, they'll probably fight you. But what's the average? What's the sweet spot?
So we've seen a lot of 500s. I think that's high. I think 250, my personal opinion, I feel like 250, you want your $250 back. I don't know that I would go to $500.
What did it cost you to clean up? Like, was it $500? I mean, what, like,
So it was myself. I was being paid time and a half, and then a park assistant who was also being paid time and a half. And we were there well past midnight every night. I,
so
I
was that
think,
$500?
yeah, I mean, that would have,
I mean,
yeah.
I guess, I don't know. I'd look at it more as a try to break even or get close to even as you can. I mean, I don't know. That's my thoughts.
This is Jeff Julian. I tend to think that 500 is a good amount. I think 250 is maybe not enough of a deterrent. You know, they're collecting lots and lots of money for these tournaments, in user fees or whatever, you know, entry fees, and they could disperse that out and just eat it, you know, and say, well, we're not going to worry about it. We're just going to leave them how we want. I think the 500 is more of a deterrent. They get it back. They may, instead of leaving it that way, they may have a couple of people stick around and clean up a little bit. Who knows? I don't know.
So do you need a recommendation, Lauren?
Yes.
All right, the floor is open for a recommendation. Jeff, I like your idea. You want to make that a recommendation?
Yeah, I motion that we make it a $500 refundable deposit paid up front.
I second that motion.
Second from Scott. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise their right hand.
Aye.
Okay, it passes unanimously. Is that good for that, Lauren?
Yes, sir.
Good deal. If you're going to work, we're going to pay you not time and a half, just one time. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is our Independence Day. Number one, have we decided on a date for that? And I know we kind of voted on the Grand Marshal or who was going to lead it. So we had some recommendations. So do we have a date for that?
We have a date. We're going to host it on the Saturday before the 4th, which changes things up because the town is used to hosting on the 4th. But people go to church and all of that on Sundays. And so we are going to start early, staff, by going out to the businesses and the homeowners that will be affected on Saturday, the 3rd, letting them know that we will be having the parade. But for you all, we need nominations and a vote tonight on who you would like to invite to be the Grand Marshal. Staff, I gave you the two that staff had recommended, past board of mayor and alderman. We were going to do that last year, but because of the pandemic, we had canceled the parade. And so that is still in there as a recommendation. And then Leanne Morgan, who is a local comedian, that was recommended by Town of Farragut staff.
Now, when you say recommended, I mean, we haven't put any feelers out to, let's say, Leanne Morgan at this point. It's just a name that was suggested, or
it's just a name. So you vote on who you want to ask. You can have a second in there to ask. I send the letter from the Town of Farragut and our chairperson, Bob Brock. And if they accept, they are our Grand Marshal. If they decline, we go to the next one on the list.
Drew, are you busy that Saturday?
Nobody wants to see me leading that parade.
Well, okay, we have one vote for Leanne Morgan.
I will throw out a name. You know, a big thing for me is taking what we're really good at and what we're known for and making those things better, like our parks. And a big thing for me is our schools. And so I may just throw out a name and say, you know, Dr. John Bartlett, principal at the high school. He's making a huge impact at the high school. He's newer to the community. He's getting a lot of attention and a lot of praise for what he's doing at the high school. So I'd throw out that name.
This is Bill McAdams. I had a couple of thoughts. One is I don't know anything about Leanne Morgan. I listened to her for a couple of minutes. I enjoyed it, but you'd have to make sure that she is not her message, her act is not offensive to anybody, because that would be a no-go. So you probably check that one off, but that would be a question. And then I thought about the schools and about the first responders given COVID. So I kind of like the idea of Dr. Bartlett, or also kind of representing the school teachers, or as an idea. But you can't go wrong right now today with in general with supporting the teachers or the first responders. So just an idea. I'm not against the other ideas. I could definitely support them.
All these are good ideas. We can welcome Sue's and Lauren's comments. Somebody mentioned to me, what about Jason Zachary, a local politician I think a lot of people really like him. So that's another name you can throw in the hat. Jason's, I think, got our best interests at heart, so whether that would be a consideration.
So usually at the meetings, what we do is everybody writes down their choice on a piece of paper, and then you give them to me, and whoever has the highest votes wins. But in this case, because we have quite a few nominations, I will send out an email tomorrow morning and ask for everyone's vote, or to rank them 1 through 5. And we'll take those highest and offer it to the highest vote.
I will add a couple comments. Historically, Bob, we have stayed away from elected officials because there are so many of them. Just because, and they're always in the parade anyway. I mean, they're there, but as far as Grand Marshal, because that gets to be difficult over time. I thought the principle from Drew was great. Would you consider, Drew, changing that, or maybe adding this to all 4 principles?
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I think that'd highlight all the schools equally and give some good attention to all the schools. So yeah, I would be okay with that.
All righty, so Lauren, you'll send us all out an email that we can vote, and we can tabulate it, and then go down the list and see who can accept. So have you got to name all the principals, Sue? I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah, we can get all that if that's what you want. We can put it on the list as just one, and then all 4 if you'd rather. However you want, Drew. How would you like it listed? 2 different options, or
I mean, I think it would be fine from my standpoint to do all of them as one option.
So we're going to try to contact all 4. And when we take any of the 4, if 1 or 2 can't do it or is unwilling, is that good too?
we have in the past, we have done groups, like we've done the coaches at Farragut High School, because we had a bunch of winning teams. And so, if every coach couldn't make it, we went ahead with whatever coaches were there. So.
Okay, fantastic. So we'll look forward to that email, Lauren, when you get that ready. Next thing on the agenda is our no smoking. And Sue's going to address that. That's for the no smoking in the play areas.
Yes, so the Board of Mayor and Aldermen did pass on second reading the no smoking ordinance. We have just received a couple days ago all the signs. So we've had the signs done. They will be mimic the City of Knoxville signs. They have our logo and our reference our ordinance, but they will look the same as the city of Knoxville. And it's my understanding that Knox County is also moving through this process. So I'm not sure what their plans for signage are, but that work order will be going to Public Works pretty soon, probably early next Monday. Lauren and I have a little bit of work to do on placement requests, and then they'll put it up as their schedule allows here in the probably next month. But it's good news for us.
I like it. I'm an ex-smoker, so I can join your side. The next one on the agenda is the CIP update. Sue, that's you.
All right, so McPhee Park is moving along. The Board of Mayor and Aldermen did add the multi-purpose court, basketball court that also will have a shuffleboard on it and a Foursquare on it. So that has been added to the project, but they are moving along at a pretty good rate. I think originally their contract had them being done. They were supposed to be done at the end of April. The addition of the basketball court allows them to push that back another month. And we'll see. I mean, it's hard to know right now. They do have some rain dates that they're asking for a delay, and we'll see what the spring brings us because it's been pretty darn wet out there. So, but things are moving along. Lauren and I will be ordering equipment here in the next couple weeks. So once the project's done, it'll probably take because it's such a big area, it'll probably take Public Works several weeks to install the benches, trash cans, all those things we do not put in the contract because we don't want to pay the contractor their upcharge and to put it in when our guys can do it. But so we're thinking right now that we'll have some kind of ribbon cutting grand opening with some activities. Not sure about what that looks like quite yet, but we're hoping maybe in July. So
okay.
That's where we are on McPhee. Any questions about McPhee Park? All right. Next exciting news that we have is that by some miracle, we were the recipient of a grant that we applied for in the fall from the Blue Cross Foundation. They are installing 10 playgrounds across the state in celebration of their 75th anniversary. And the cost on each of these playgrounds, well, the grant package is $750,000. Part of that money, about 125 to 150,000 of that, will actually go into a foundation of Blue Cross's choosing that we can use to replace equipment, surfacing, anything down the road that not just regular maintenance at all, but surfacing. The playground surface has a lifespan. Playground equipment has a lifespan. So sometimes you have to order new parts and that kind of stuff. So that's really exciting to us. We had our first meeting with them today on site. The location of this playground is behind the town hall and a piece of land that's just been sitting there for quite a long time. It's a nice flat grassy area. And so this should fit well. It's a pretty easy access. And so we're really excited about it. This playground, while all playgrounds are ADA compliant, this playground actually has a more complete ramping system so that wheelchairs can actually get up on it rather than just the usual transfer station. So it's not a huge playground, but it's really nice. It's also got a little bit of a fitness area for teens and adults. It has a small pavilion that'll hold 4 tables. And then it has swing sets and and a couple individual kind of play pieces to it. So that's really exciting. The timetable on that, they should be getting started sometime this spring. They're still trying to get all their pieces to the puzzle together because this one company is doing the install for all of these. The really good thing about this is we do not have to bid this. We do not have to do anything with the contract. It is all handled by Blue Cross Blue Shield. We will oversee it, but we don't have to go through all those processes that usually take months. So we're very excited about that. And just for your information, the gym floor is being laid for the third time. So we're hoping the third time is the charm. And we hope to be playing back in the gym in February. It will be with some very strict rules because of COVID and the governor's orders if they are extended. So we've worked those out today. More details on that today with the staff, but we're hoping to be able to get back into the gym because we haven't been in there until since the late September, I guess. So
Right before Thanksgiving, yes. Well, that's great update, Sue. Thanks for sharing that. I know our grandkids and the little ones will love those kind of playgrounds, so that is awesome. Lauren, back to you on the program coordinators.
Okay, so Town of Farragut Parks and Recreation staff are doing a special project that begins Thursday and goes through the end of March. It's called Signed, Sealed, and Delivered, We Care. It's a call to Farragut citizens to write a letter or card in support of all the workers at Tenova Hospital. Let's see, this includes everyone from the janitors to the doctors, nurses, and administration. Public Works has installed 2 bright green mailboxes at the community center and at the town hall. And no postage is necessary to send these letters. You just write your letters, you put them in the mailbox at town hall or the community center. And then Karen, who is our tourism coordinator, has coordinated all of this, put it all together. She'll deliver them to the hospital, and they will make sure the letters get to all staff, displayed in break rooms and in areas. There's different themes for the weeks, and that will be sent out to you all. So an example, January 15th through the 31st is thank you for your service. And then February 2nd, the letters will be delivered. So a different theme. And we have a, what is it called? Promoting an Admiral Farragut scavenger hunt. Bryson, who is our administrative assistant in our department, he dresses up like Admiral Farragut or Jingles the Elf. You might have seen that as well. We are hiding little pictures of him in the parks, and 10 lucky winners will win a gift card to Dairy Queen, I think is what we decided. But just a way to get people out in the parks and outside where it's safer than being indoors close to people. So we have programs going on at the community center with limited numbers. Our special events coordinator, Brittany, is working hard trying to find activities for people to participate in. We have basket making classes and some virtual Medicare classes. So she's been working really hard. And so we're just trying to keep people active right now where they are.
That's important. Do you still have a need for volunteers once we get up and running again after this?
We don't know. We will be putting out, or Brittany will be putting out calls for volunteers once we can have events again. We've bumped all of our events like our Shamrock Ball and things like that. We've moved those out. So we are still planning on having all of those events. We're just not, we don't have a definite set schedule for those.
Do you think we'll bring the fishing rodeo back to the spring rather than the fall as we did last year?
I think the plan is to have it in June. Is that right, Sue? In June?
Yeah.
And still do it as a pre-register event because that went so well. So we know after having it this year that we can have more than what we had. So we'll open registration up to more families.
Yeah, the one in 2020 this past fall, that really seemed smooth. You know, the bring your own rod and the pre-registration, it really seemed like it worked out well.
Fantastic. Is there any other business, any more items to discuss? We've not heard from Dylan. I can't talk. Randy, I've not heard from you. You've not had a comment.
Randy is all good. Thank you.
Good deal. Dylan, how about you?
Good here. I like basketball courts.
I'm sorry?
I like the addition of a basketball court.
Good. So you can take your troops out there. Do we have any further business to discuss or anybody have comments? Lauren and Sue, thanks as always. Super job. And appreciate all the work that you do. When you need us, just call on us. And just next time I do trick or treat, make sure it's warmer.
Okay. We'll put in a request for the weather.
All right, that's good. Anybody else? Okay, I'd like to take a motion that we retire for the night. That from Dylan, make that motion.
Dylan is a non-voting member, so we'll have to have a voting member make that.
I'll make
Bill McAdams.
Randy Armstrong will make a motion that retire for the night.
Good deal.
Bill McAdams will second the motion.
Who seconded?
Bill McAdams.
All right, let's go watch some more Alabama football. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, see you, everybody. Have a good week.
All right, you too.